Morning. I'd like to call this meeting of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency Audit and Finance Committee meeting to order. Order of business is the conflict of interest disclosure form. As we begin today's meeting, I'd like to remind everyone of our duty to act in the best interest of the organization and keeping our conflict of interest policy. I ask that each board member disclose any actual potential or perceived conflicts related to the matters on today's agenda. If you believe you may have a conflict, please state it now so it can be noted in the minutes. If a conflict arises during the discussion, please bring it to our attention immediately. If a conflict is denied, the board member must exit the meeting while the item is being discussed. If the conflict is identified, the board member must exit the meeting while the item is being discussed. Transparency protects both the integrity of our decision-making and the trust placed in this board. Next item on the agenda is to accept the minutes of the September 26, 2025 meeting. Motion. So moved. Second.
Second.
Favor.
Aye.
Next order on business is public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on items pertaining to the Audit and Finance Committee, please state your name and limit your comments to 5 minutes. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Item 4, new business, review and recommendation of a resolution adopting a tuition reimbursement policy to promote the professional growth of agency employees. Casey.
Thank you. Good morning and happy new year to everyone. So one item for today's committee meeting, which is the, adoption of a formal policy related to a tuition reimbursement policy for the organization. In September, I think the committee approved in concept the establishment of a tuition reimbursement policy. Today's action would actually solidify the policy moving forward. The purpose of this policy would be to support the professional growth and development of employees by providing financial assistance for educational opportunities that enhance skills, knowledge, and competencies relevant to the mission of the organization. Tuition reimbursement strengthens our workforce, builds organizational capacity, and aligns employee advancement with the economic development goals of our region. So just a note, we do have a professional development line in our budget, which is where we anticipate these funds coming from. But this takes it, I think, one step further and actually would provide a reimbursement for eligible coursework, whether it's through a 2 or 4 year program or some sort of other certification program. Some of the highlights of the program would be eligibility would be full-time employees who have completed a minimum of 6 months of continuous employment. The course, program, or degree must be directly related to areas core to our mission, of course, economic development, community development, workforce development, or related policy areas, business administration, finance, marketing, data analytics, and other business management courses or other areas deemed relevant and approved in advance by management. We are suggesting and recommending that the organization would reimburse up to $1,500 per semester for a total of $3,000 per calendar year for tuition and mandatory enrollment fees, required textbooks and course materials, or any relevant certification exam fees if tied to an approved program. We have a number of non-reimbursable expenses outlined. I won't go into those now. As far as how this would be administered by the IDA, employees must submit a tuition reimbursement request form to their supervisor and HR prior to course enrollment so that we ensure the program aligns with mission. Upon completion, there's some material or items related to what the request should include in your document. Upon completion of a course semester or designated course schedule, a copy of the transcript would be provided, reaching a satisfactory grade of B or higher. Final approval would be at the discretion of the Audit and Finance Committee based on budget availability and alignment with organizational priorities. Some of the reimbursement conditions, come on in, Nick, right over here. Some of the reimbursement conditions would include, again, a minimum grade of B or a 3.0 GPA. Pass, fail courses must receive a pass. Reimbursement would be issued upon submission, so it would be reimbursable as noted, with the official grades transcript and proof of payment. And one additional item, employees must remain employed with the organization for at least 12 months following reimbursement. If the employment were to end voluntarily or through termination for cause before the time period end, that employee would repay the reimbursement amount. And then again, it just outlines annual limits and budget related. Again, this would be based on our, would be coming out of our professional development line of our budget. And there's some items related to tax considerations. They would be administered in compliance with applicable IRS regulations governing educational assistance programs and accountability. The policy would be reviewed every 2 years by HR and this committee to ensure alignment with organizational priorities and financial capacity. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
There's a quick question on how we determine the amount and if it's sufficient.
I think the amount is roughly about 50% of a semester and roughly a little less than, a little less than. I was leaning towards about 50% of cost.
But we'll address that each time it's renewed, I guess, since tuition always goes up.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
is to make
Right.
sure that it stays relevant and it's a relatively modest.
Would you prefer a percentage amount at like a 50% or a dollar value?
I
for
think it's
either?
good having a dollar
Okay.
in there, but I think just having an appreciation that it is
Could
a
go up.
meaningful enough support, because I mean, that's the whole reason we want to do this, is something of, an inducement and recognizing the hard work that's going into an employee that is already working for us and is committed to stay.
Correct.
It makes for better staff if they're educated. It has to be relevant to us.
Annually.
We can, I was gonna
Policy
say,
Review annually, yeah.
Yeah, I-
Put that in the mix.
I would say that'd be better, if you would annually,
Annually.
if you could increase the amount.
agreed. So I would recommend then one change in the draft you have in front of you. Under the final item of accountability, we have noted every 2 years of review. We'll just change that to annual review. If that satisfies, yeah.
And then the only other piece I had was just on the approval.
Mhm.
I personally would be okay having the executive have the approval as long as, it didn't blow our budget. And to think that it had to come back to a committee, I can't think of why the committee would reject an application. And I think it's fair that the applicant knows that before the end of the month, at the end of the semester, that it's something that will be approved if the other criteria is met. I think that's fair at the front end.
I agree.
Yeah, me too. Especially we're gonna review it once a year now, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
anything not changing.
No,
Yeah.
but there's HR reviews, it's not even the committee reviews.
Right.
Then I just got a couple comments. 3.0, geez, I never got that in my life. I looked at that, I said, whoa, that's a
Professional.
Well-
standard for me. And the only other thing on the reimbursement, which with your type of employee won't matter, but what we found with ours, trying to get reimbursed for it, cause in our business, once they're trained, people are, Dan can tell you, they come and take them
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah,
We had to put language upon termination that it would come out, I don't know what the language was, Chris, from their accrued benefits or something. But I don't even know if you wanna worry about it, that's just
okay.
down the road if this program.
Oh, I see. So not waiting for the employee to
Yeah, well,
reimburse,
I don't know.
take it out
I'm
of,
sure here it wouldn't happen, but.
Make it a net,
Just
make it a net.
Take off,
Yeah.
and sometimes they don't pay you,
right,
so, and we couldn't take it
Gotcha.
at the time of termination, cause we didn't have the language in the agreement.
right.
Got it.
So I don't.
I get what you're
it's just a
saying.
thought. You don't even have to do it here.
Okay.
We have a scholarship loan agreement for apprentices, it says they agree to work. In
Yeah, so
credits,
we-
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But then, when they do take off.
Yeah, usually the lawyers bill, well.
Yeah, right, so,
Usually doubles that once the
Right.
lawyer gets a loan.
right, so if you can do it
Yeah,
at point of termination, just makes it
Put it on lawyers.
easier.
Twice.
That's just for information mainly.
Any other questions? Look for a motion to approve as amended.
Yeah,
All in favor, aye, opposed, no, motion carried. Wait for it. No old business,
No.
motion for adjournment, is in order.
We'll move.
We are adjourned.